All right, back for round two. So got the chassis, got the diffs together. Now to install those. Also, go back to my first video, that piece that holds that shaft down, it is the smaller screws. I had to measure mine. Since they just come in a loose bag, I had to measure and double check. But it is the smaller screws. Luckily, they're the same diameter, so I put the longer ones in. It didn't seem to do much damage. I'm going to Loctite them just to make sure. But for everybody watching, again, right here, use the smaller screws to hold that down. So step 7, installing the differentials and the bearings. You're going to need some more of this wonderful Tamiya grease. I wish it had a cap, so it does not. I have it in one of the plastic bags that had some of the parts I took out in it. But it shows here, grab 2 of your BB1 bearings out of your bag. Oh, they're rolling everywhere. And I believe these are the bigger bearings. Yeah, the BB2 are the small ones. So these would be the BB2, the bigger bearings. Open these bad boys up. And you're going to put them on the side of the differential, right here. And you're going to put some grease on that as well. They don't, I mean, the pictures they show you, it is pretty detailed. I mean, I don't know compared to other builds, since I'm a first-time builder. It does say add the grease. Doesn't say to add it to the ball bearings, so you just snap those on. As you can see, that, bam, snaps right in place. One. Snap the other one right in place. And you got both bearings on, as you can see. Also note the direction you're going to put this differential in the chassis. You want to make sure it's installed the right way, obviously. So when your vehicle's running, it's gonna the way they connect. If you put it in the wrong way, it won't, especially being 4-wheel drive, they won't run smooth. You'll notice right away, I did it by accident. First time I took my red cat apart, and it didn't run true. They didn't all link up, the whole shaft and differentials. So just make sure you go by the direction booklet how you install this. And you want to have it, so this is the front of the chassis. You want to make sure that the case is on the right hand side, like so. So depending on the way you're looking at the vehicle, if you're looking dead at it, it would be on the right hand side. Let's see, everything's running smooth. You can see that spinning. You're also mixing that grease up, which is a good idea. Now if you install it the wrong way, try and show you. If you install it to the left, you can actually see it almost fits. I mean, I'm sure it's not meant to be that way later on, but just make sure you install it correctly. I know with my Red Cat, when I installed it on the opposite side, it wouldn't run smooth, so I'm assuming once you put that other differential in the rear, you'll notice a difference. But yeah, make sure that's on. Again, if you're looking directly at the car, that gear sticking up on the right hand side. And add some grease. Looks like it's saying add it on. Make sure right here. Add it on the big differential gear right here. Add your grease on that. It looks like from the photo that's where it's saying add it. In the comments, if I'm wrong, please correct me. That's where I'm going to add it. Inside those teeth on the gear. And also spin it around. Now I'll actually add some grease on the shaft gear as well while you're spinning it. Now I'm going to spin it in both directions just to make sure I get grease everywhere on these gears. Make sure they're greased nice and good, and these teeth don't get chewed up right away. Alright, now we're going to add the differential case, the top housing, top case. It's on A. A, I believe, is this guy. Nope, that's D. Here's A, you can tell. A4, that's this guy right here. I'll try and break that off nicely. Again, remember, shave those tabs off, if there is any. Disclaimer, watch your fingertips when you're cutting these tabs off. And also, as I'm seeing right now, make sure you don't cut too much off. Doesn't have to be perfect. Of course, as I say that, I'm trying to make it perfect. But it really doesn't have to be. Just so it's as smooth as you can get it without damaging the parts or taking too much off. That looks pretty good to me. Again, you want to make sure you install it correctly, so if that's your chassis, this is the front of it. The gear is on the right hand side looking forward, and you see that little collar on there. That's going to go towards the center of the vehicle, towards the back, like that. Boom, locks right on. And then to lock that in place, you're going to go with 4 of these MA2, the 3x10 millimeters. It's hard because, again, they come in just a bag altogether. So make sure those longer ones in the last video were the 15 millimeter in length ones. So save those for later. You're going to need those. And you're going to use 4 of these to screw this differential housing on. Again, get 2 or 3 threads on each before you run them home, just to make sure everything lines up. Make sure your screws are level and they're not cockeyed or to the side, so you don't mess them up when you're threading them in. I'm not 100%, but by the way I'm looking at this, you're actually tapping the plastic as you screw these in. Again, in the comments if that's incorrect. But it looks like you're actually threading the plastic when you put these screws in. So you want to make sure you got them as straight as possible. And just kind of gently until they start to bite. This may be something later on, go and put some blue Loctite on, but for right now I'm just going to put them on. Again, I do not recommend using a screwdriver. I know most of the other YouTubers I watch with RC stuff recommend not to do it. It's risky. You strip them out, the screw gets in sideways, you know, you ruin the threaded area. I'm doing it because I feel comfortable. I've worked with power tools my whole life. My drill also, like I was showing you, you know, it's on 1. So the torque is super light. It may not even run these all the way home. But that's the way I'm choosing to do it. Now they are locked hard in place. I'm going to check them with my screwdriver by hand just because I'm anal like that. And I like to make sure they are solid. Now that's locked into place. You can see the 4 screws here. 2. The other 2. Kind of hard to see, but yeah, right there. Kind of see right there, right there. All right, now that that's on, step 8. Step 8 would be attaching the front upper arms. So you need 4 of those small 10 millimeter screws again. And you need B13, 2 of the B13s. Let's see what, is this B? Here's B. B13. Come on down. That's this guy right here. Boop. Twist that off. I'm going to assume that you got 2 arms, so you need 2 of them. And where's the other B13 at? It's on the other part. They give you 2. A lot of the parts are the same, but a lot of them, I'm going to assume, you know, You're going to need them. Maybe some of them are spares. Now you need, all right, you got the two B13s. A2. Bingo. A2. A2 is that guy right here. Make sure to take those tabs off. Now, A2 fits right over that differential housing we just screwed on. You can see, make sure you have the right direction. Slides on just like that. Now, I'm sure if you put it on the right way, it would, I mean the wrong way, it would, yeah, see, it won't fit right. So, just make sure. Slides right on, like that. And then two of those 10mm screws to hold that down. Again, you know, if you do decide to use power tools, I would always, at the very least, start by hand. Make sure you feel them grab, make sure they're straight. Even putting these on with the drill, I actually put it on 2, it was still not tight enough. So, just goes to show you. You gotta be really careful, and I mean, it's only plastic, so if you go too high with the torque, you're gonna snap this plastic, strip the screws, ruin the threaded area. I mean, it is risky. I'm doing it because I feel comfortable. I don't recommend it. But now that we have that on, nice and solid, you're gonna grab A7. Which is that big guy in the center right there. Pop that off. And it looks like you're actually going to take the the upper arms, and they slide into the front where we just screwed that on. Now they are directional, so this piece here goes to the back. See that? That goes towards the back of the car. Slide those in real quick. You do have to add grease to both sides. So I'm gonna add the grease to both sides before I put it onto the car, just to make it easier, hopefully less messy. Add the grease just to these little parts that are sticking out. I might be overkilling it a little, but you can always wipe it off. Alright, that goes towards the back, don't forget. Ooh, that is a lot. Wow, it's a lot. And then that A7, again, make sure watch the direction of it. Back this piece here. See that? See how these are sticking out here? And see how back here's kind of flat? This goes towards the rear of the vehicle. This goes towards the front. I know it's kind of hard to make out, but see that any better? That goes towards the front and it slips right over those other tabs that you greased up. And grease galore. And 2 small screws. Two of those pan head screws, those 10mm, right through the front center holes. Making these threads for the first time, they will go in pretty tough, so make sure they're all the way in there. You'll notice if the part's still a little loose. It's still a little bit loose. Yeah, it's nice and tight. Yeah, that's where you should be. You see the A-arms. Let's see. Bam. Upper arms. Sorry, I called them A-arms again. Upper arms are intact. Tighten down. And it looks like you're gonna need P7, which I don't even know where it is yet. P7. Let's see. D. B's. That's our A's. That is P7. B. P. All right. Okay. P7 is actually loose in the bag. So you're gonna need 2 of those. That's these little guys right here. And they're going to snap into the upper arm. Looks like. Yep, they snap right in. And you want to put them in going this way. So that hole is going to be facing the front and the rear of the vehicle. Now they're going to move around anyway, so because it doesn't really matter. All right, now next step, rear diff. You're going to need 2 of those ball bearings again. Oh. The 2, you can see they slightly different, bigger on the inside. Trash box. Put those bearings on the outside of the diff. And this is going to go into the rear of the vehicle. Now, just note the direction once again. Because they're not great at showing you direction. I mean, I'm looking at the photo here, and it seems like they're holding the chassis this way. This is the front. And the screws are going towards you. Which, if memory serves me correct, is the same way we put the front on. No, I'm sorry. We put the screws facing us this way. Be nice if they told you what side it went on. You know, it says note the direction. So I don't know if they want you to put them on the same side. They don't really specify. And since this is my first build, I'm gonna assume they want them on opposite. sure you're going to want them on the same side so they spin the same way. So just make sure you put them on the same side. I put them with the screws facing to the left, so we're going to stick with that. And then I'm going to go with A4, which is the same as the front. Cut the tabs off. Make sure that piece covering the goes towards the center of the vehicle or the front of the vehicle. This side, see, it's just flat. And 4 more screws. Run them down by hand. What I also like to do is, you know, if I start with the rear, you know, if you're looking at the vehicle, that'd be the front left. Then I'll go to the rear right screw, so kind of cross, just to make sure they're going down evenly. Make sure the housing is going down evenly. I mean, it sits pretty flush, shouldn't have any issues, but kind of just so used to doing that. It's all nice and solid. There you can see it all. And then we're going to do similar to what we did on the front. We have another A2 and A7. Another A2 and an A7. Clean those tabs up. same way. That's going to go facing the rear of the vehicle now. And screw that down. Again with the MA2, the 10mm 3x10mm screws. And I believe these screws are so much harder to start because you're actually threading the plastic. Solid. And then for the arms, you want the B17s. B17. Where's B? B17 right here. This guy right on the end. So I'm sure there's one on each parts tree. So you can figure that out since there's two B, mostly two of every letter parts trees. These ones don't want to come off. Wow. That's one. Here's the other B17. Again, clean those tabs up. And same thing, you're going to grease these two on both of them. Make sure directional wise it looks like. Now I believe this is where you can actually the vehicle may be a little wider depending on which way you put them, or I'm sorry, not wider but longer. I don't know if that'll mess with it since this is my first build, but you know, the actual angled part goes towards the rear, so I'm gonna keep it that way, exactly how it says in the instructions. You can always play with that stuff later. I don't know if that'll matter or if people prefer it one way or the other, but since this is my first Tamiya vehicle and my first build, I'm not sure if that matters. If it does, or if you know more about it, you can always throw it in the comments. That A7 goes on. Obviously, I know these parts are small, so if you're having a hard time, being that you have to, screw these on, you'll notice because the holes will line up for where the screws go. So if you have it the wrong way or upside down, you'll know pretty easily because the holes line up. Now we're starting to get an actual car here. Got the shafts on, got the gears, differentials, arms are on. Looks like these might even be the shock towers. I'm not gonna say they definitely are, but they kind of look like it. Or part of them. Could be totally wrong. It's nice and tight. Alright. Stay tuned for part 3. If you guys like this, thumbs up. You can maybe subscribe. Thinking about maybe doing more videos, maybe not all this involved in the future. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down. Leave me in the comments. Good, bad, beautiful, and ugly.